Hey guys, so welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the six books that I read in May. So let's get into it. So in May I read 6 books, as I've already said. 2 of them were audiobooks slash I kind of read along with the audiobook. I'll get more into that when I get to them books. I read 1 book on my Kindle, which was on Kindle Unlimited, and then the other 3 were all physical copies of a book. So let me start. The first book I read was for a video that I've already uploaded before this one. It is my random number generator picks my read one, and that is Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I gave my full thoughts and feelings of this book in that video, so if you want to know more then go check that video out. But overall I rated this book a 3 or 3.5. I can't remember, I have a feeling it was a 3, but I will put it up here if I've got that wrong. I did really enjoy this book. It's just I felt like there was the subplot was the romance and the main plot was the politics and everything going on in the world, and I actually quite enjoyed the politics, but I just felt like that was all wrapped up quite quickly at the end, and it could have been a bit longer because I wanted more depth and detail of how they solved the issues that were going on basically. So book number 1 is Scarred by Emily McIntyre. Then the next book I read was also physical, so I'm just doing it in the order that I finished them, and this was The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Oh my goodness, I enjoyed this book. I think it's my favourite one out of the entire series. I rated this book a 5-star. This series overall for me is a 5-star series. I'll be going to sleep and I'll think about the series and something that happens. Like, I love the Inheritance Game series. If you have not read it, do yourself a favour, please. If you take anything from this, please read this book. This one basically is just the last book in the series, and it basically is wrapping up all the loose ends and all the last puzzles that are happening. But in this book there's a new character that introduced that isn't in the first 2, and you get a new storyline with that and new puzzles and everything like that. These books are such quick reads. The chapters are really short, it's really fast paced, there's so much going on. It's not confusing though, it's brilliant. I have got the Brothers Hawthorne book, which I will probably be reading soon, and I've also got The Naturals, which is the first book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm super excited to get into other series by her. But yeah, so that was my second book of the month. My third book of the month was on Kindle Unlimited, and it is part of a series, a very long series. I think there's like 50 books in the series, and it's all like interconnected standalone, but they're like all interconnected, you know? And the first one I read is the first book in the series, and it's called All I Want Is You, and it's basically a group of friends in college that some of them are related, some of them family, the other ones are friends, but they're all like rich millionaire, come from like rich families. It's really good. It made me think of the Addicted series. I haven't finished that series, but that's what it made me think of. Really close-knit of friends. And then, so in the first book you are following 2 characters, and the female has already got a boyfriend and the male hasn't, and the male has loved her or like been attracted to her for quite a long time and wants to treat her right, and they've been friends since they were little. So yeah, it's just kind of following that and some things that happen in that story. There's a couple of like drunken nights, or a drunken night I should say, but yeah, I really recommend reading this series. I'm only on the first book, but it's so bingeable. Like, I was just sat like on the bike at the gym the other day, like when I was reading this, like just scrolling on my phone, because obviously it's on Kindle. So yeah, it's brilliant. I loved it. As I said, gave it 4 stars. It was a little bit spicy, but it weren't like Penelope Douglas level spicy, like in-depth like spice, I wouldn't say. But there was like themes, and it would talk about it and then like allude to something basically. So the next book is one that I had the audiobook for because I didn't love the first book, and I kind of followed along with the book if I had a chance, otherwise I just listened to the audiobook, and that is The Wicked King, which is the second book in the Cruel Prince series. Oh my god, it's the second book in the Cruel Prince series. I did like this book more than the first one. I just don't really think this series was for me. It did, as I was saying, I did read the third book also in this month. But yeah, I would recommend it if you're getting into fantasy, but it's a lot of politics. There's not a lot of romance going on, which I think is where I didn't know, because I was expecting a full-on romantasy. But now, the last book that I physically read last month I should say, because we're now in June, is A Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I love this book. I was expecting to give it a 5-star. I gave it a 4, and I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4.25 or a 4.5. I'll put up here again. I'm terrible with memory, and no idea. I enjoyed this book. I do love Emily Henry's writing. It is so easy to read. There's great banter. It's a great summer read, but there are some darker topics going on as well. There's a lot of things going on with families here, and also to do with mental health as well, due to the situation. Now, I'm sure everyone has heard their mum and everyone talk about this book since it's come out, but the basic premise is, I'm going to explain this one a little bit more than the others. I feel like because the others have all been part of the series, I haven't been able to explain it properly, but basically there's Daphne and Miles, and they are the two main characters in this book, and they are, let me get this right, Daphne's ex-fiance is the fiance of Miles's ex-fiance. Yeah, confusing to begin with, but I kind of like the premise. I feel like there weren't a lot of romance going on in this book, but I feel like sometimes in Emily Henry's books it's kind of the subplot, and the actual plot of the story is the situation and what they're going through and things like that. But yeah, I enjoyed this book nonetheless, and if you haven't read this book yet, please do. I have seen some people say that this one's not their favourite one, but yeah, I enjoyed it nonetheless. I've only read this one and Beach Read. Book Lovers is on my TBR for this month, so let's see if I ever manage to get to that this month or not. But yeah, I would quite like to do a video where I'm just reading all of Emily Henry's books, so if you're interested in that, let me know. And then the last book that I listened to / read this month, and also if you don't think audiobooks count as reading, shush, you are consuming a book nonetheless, so it's fine. I do have 2 different accounts that I'm running. I've got my Storygraph and my Goodreads. Goodreads, I track everything, audiobooks, physical books, Kindle books, everything. On my Storygraph, I only track my physical books and my Kindle books, so I get that number, so I know what I've... But yeah, the last book I read or listened to was The Queen of Nothing, and I did the same as I did with The Wicked King. We'd have the audiobook, and sometimes I'd follow along with the book if I was able to at that time. But I did enjoy this book the most out of the series. I gave this a 3.5 stars. But yeah, I just felt like it wrapped everything up really nicely, and yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I this one was the best one in my opinion. But yeah, I'm debating rereading it later, just to see if, listening to the audiobooks, just to see if I understand it a bit better, but that won't be for a while. But yeah, these are the 5 books that I read, and then I read 1 Kindle book, so total of 6 books this month that I finished, and I had a pretty decent reading month. Not my best, but definitely not my worst. My worst reading month, I think I read 1 book. My best this year, let me check, because I've got a little stats page in my journal. My best was January, which I read 11, but that doesn't... Yeah, I did enjoy this. These books. So yeah, if you've got any book recommendations for me or any opinions on the books that I read this month, do comment them below, and please subscribe and like this video. It really helps me out. I'm trying to grow my account, as you guys probably know. But yeah, TikTok and Instagram will be in the description and at the end card. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys soon.